So you could
Okay.
walk them through, you know what a virtual tour is?
Yes.
So I've got virtual tours of all of those plans. And so, you can go walk them through that virtual tour, like this is. This is not one of the plans I'm talking about, but so you can do this kind of thing with them. Put
Hmm.
them up on the big screen and walk them through the home. The virtual tour to me is just one of the greatest tools to be able to use because you've got the opportunity to show somebody a home when you can't show them the home.
Right.
And that people are so visual, they have to see it or they can't understand it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If they don't like see it with their eyes walking through it, it's hard to buy a two-dimensional sheet of paper floor plan, a black and white drawing.
Yeah.
Most people just can't understand what that is they're looking at. In 2 minutes here, you guys, I need to make a quick phone call to somebody. So I'll probably drop off for a minute. It won't be a very long phone call, so I'm going to leave this open and I'll come back to it in a couple minutes and jump back on with you guys and finish up. But yeah, so I think that um, that's one of the best ways. Ty, you've been through this for a long time. For you, what was the best way for you to get to know your floor plans? Like she was wondering, how do I learn the product the best? Like what's the fastest way to learn our product? Like she's been going through my training videos of like the initial Builders Training Academy. But then like what helped you to learn the floor plans and learn kind of your individual product the best, Ty?
Well, I'm fortunate that I don't have a ton to learn. The bat, not humble brag there, but
That's
yeah,
true.
anyone that you have to go into just going through them, especially sounds kind of weird, but it's almost more memorable if you continue to go through them. Like if you have one that's in phases of construction, like seeing it play out, like you see it frame and you're like, oh, okay, and then all of a sudden it's like drywall's done. You're like, oh, this looks different. Like you're kind of seeing it new each time.
Yeah.
And then if not, just I didn't have any virtual ones, so just studying those floor plans and kind of helping myself memorize those features off just the floor plan.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Typing up your list of your features helps you. Like that's a way I learned, like just typing that in and like reading it over, like
Yeah.
any kind of practical way, I guess. Practicing, like when you're just sitting around the office and you're tired of trying to make phone calls or no one's coming in, like just stand there. Like I have the nice decals on the wall. I'm just like
And guys, I'm gonna go
pretend
make
to
this
give them to
call
someone.
real quick. I'll be back in like 7 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be back in a moment. You guys can continue on. Go ahead, Ty. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Oh, Jordan's gonna jump on. You get Jordan.
Oh,
Whoa.
good. Make that phone call 30 minutes. We'll take Jordan.
Hey, thanks. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
that,
welcome.
Ty.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. You guys doing good?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Christmas is upon us. You guys got your shopping done?
90%.
You guys
Yeah,
like
I'm about the same.
last minute chaos type stuff?
I am not a gift card kind of person, but I ordered this book that and you go through it and it's like, when uh, for essentials or, when you want to have dinner out, when you don't feel like cooking, and it has like different pages. I spent like $500 on cards and I was like, I wouldn't have spent this much if I would have just bought presents.
That's right. That's funny. I ran to Walmart after the gym this morning because there's just my one of my boys is really into trains, like consistently. Like you know how they usually change stuff. Like he's really into trains. And there's these little plushy animal type things, and there's one that's you guys know Thomas the Train. There's one called Diesel, and I couldn't find it. I had to get a Percy one for him this morning, so hopefully he's not disappointed in me. So, you know how that you guys have you ever seen Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite movies. Where the Turbo Man doll, remember that toy?
Yeah, they're fighting for it over the toy.
Yeah. And they're playing It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And everyone's punching each other over a toy. Um, and so you kind of give into the hype of some of that. And it's kind of interesting seeing some of them trying to incentivize you to come back into the stores instead of doing online shopping, which I think is kind of interesting. They only had in-store deals. They had the other ones that were just online, and then they would tell you that it wasn't available in the app, but it was in person. So I'm playing that game right now. So, but fortunately, my wife gets most of it, and I just have to worry about getting something for her. So,
That's easy.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Shopping for a woman's so easy. Anyway, I actually heard you guys talking a little bit about floor plans because you guys know I'm the geek, right? So one thing I used to do, we actually were talking about it a second ago. Have you guys ever heard of the book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy?
No.
I've read that a few times. I've listened to it probably a half dozen times, and it's totally down my alley. If you guys are into like goal setting and like just I think the biggest thing that it does is it shows you that you're already doing the principle of the compound effect, and sometimes it usually doesn't work in your favor. But the idea is obviously seemingly small and inconsequential changes over time equals big results. But the biggest thing is consistency that gives you those results. And I'm a big fan of doing like micro learning of things, of like just a little bit every day, right? If I can read a page and a half a day, I can finish a 700-page book or something like that in a year. Some people want to cram it into a week or whatever, but it's like you can do one into the other, but that ends usually exhausting to me, right? But it's always the small things that give the big result. You guys have probably heard do you want $3 million today, or would you take the penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Have you heard that one? And that ends up being $10 million at the end of 30 days once everything ends up doubling. So if you take the immediate gratification, which we live in a microwave society, people would rather just have the 3 million instead of wait for 30 days to get the result, right? Everything's about abs in 30 days and Ozempic and everything's the microwave right now. Anyway, so I say all that to say one of those things that I had endeavored to do was product knowledge, and I really geeked out on it. And I would say, okay, well, um, I would pick a plan for 1 week, and that was the plan that I studied. And I'd allocate 10, 15 minutes a day to just that. I didn't spend all day trying to study all of them. I just picked one. And obviously, you start with your model, right? You might ask, what is the other most popular one? Or you might start hearing some people have an interest to some of those as you start showing them and finding out what they are. And I would literally like go through and I would just study the tar out of that plan. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start on the front. What sets this? And actually, some of this is the notes I'm about to share with you, Sandy, is the outline of what I had done when I was studying them. And I was pointing out the features. Of course, a lot of those Aaron came up with, but then I was like, okay, I can see the trend of how that feature is in this plan and how it's in that plan. You know what I mean? Like I started seeing what the trend and the commonality of the other floor plans and like what's the difference between the elevated and the enhanced in your scenario. If it's the red,
Mhm.
we're gonna end up changing these back to the original names because we're playing mental gymnastics to figure out which plane you're talking about. But like if it's a Redford 1, 1E, 1H, 2H, 3, 3E, what those all were and what the difference was between each of them. And that was one of the biggest things that gave me an edge over the sales team when I was just a salesperson was everyone knew I knew the information off the top of my head. Now, I will say the downside to that is I would have to make sure that I didn't feature dump and
Mhm.
overwhelm people with too much information. I had to learn how to salt the oats and give the information that was needed, but without like just dumping on there just to show them that I knew it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of more like that. I just knew it and felt comfortable. Like I just knew these like the back of my hand. I felt like I could have done a model home tour with my eyes closed at night. You know what I mean? I knew where everything was at and what changed on each of them. So then when things changed in the floor plan, I was very aware of like the modifications of the versions of them as they went through, and then I could spot them and kind of like I think I heard Ty say like when you're walking through the plans under construction, then you can even start noticing some of the nuance there. And I'm like, hey, I don't think you framed this right, that kind of stuff. So, or any deviations from the flyer or whatever.